guys, welcome back to a brand new video. I'm RexFinance, and today we're going to talk about Bitcoin and cryptocurrency because both of them have absolutely been kicking butt. If we go to Google, we can see that over the past month, Bitcoin is up about 13.5%, whereas the S&P 500 is still up, but it's only up 4.6%. And it's very likely that Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies are going to continue to outperform the stock market if the markets have in fact found their bottom. Bitcoin has always served as kind of a leveraged play in relation to the stock market. If stocks go up, Bitcoin's going to go up even more. If stocks come down, Bitcoin's going to go down even more than that. And we've seen that play out over the past few months, basically since November, since the last time Bitcoin hit highs. We can see if we go to the chart that Bitcoin, even though it's up 13.5% over the past month, is still down by 65% from recent November all-time highs. So all of this begs the question, is now a good time to go all in on crypto? So in today's video, I'm going to be looking at different on-chain analytics, different fundamentals, analyzing the current state of the markets, and also we're going to dive into different crypto assets and figure out which ones might be optimal for your personal preference to own in this current market. If all that sounds fine and dandy, do me a favor, hit the like button down below. And if you guys are new here or returning and not yet subscribed, I would greatly appreciate that subscribe button down below. Without further ado, somehow I didn't get my tongue tied saying all that. Let's jump right into this video. So to start things off, let's dive into the on-chain analytics because I know everybody that's into cryptocurrency just loves the on-chain analytics. And the first thing I want to look at is the Bitcoin supply that was last active 1 year ago or more. This, in the history, has been a very good indicator of when market tops and market bottoms hit for Bitcoin, or when they will hit. We can see that anytime this blue line has started to curl down, that generally results in the price of Bitcoin going up. And we see the opposite. Whenever this blue line is hitting the bottom, that typically signals the top of the current cycle. We can see how this played out just as recently as the last half of last year in 2021, where as the Bitcoin supply that was last active a year ago or more bottomed at 54 or 53%, that signaled the top of the Bitcoin market. And we can go back to August of 2020 and see that when the percentage of Bitcoin supply last active a year ago or more was at 63%, that signaled the bottom of a market. And you can trace this back basically since Bitcoin's inception, and this has held true. This is kind of like in the stock market when the 2-year and the 10-year treasury yields inverse, how that almost always predicts a recession. This indicator really hasn't been wrong ever in Bitcoin's history. Now, it's not to say that in the future it won't be wrong. I'm sure there will be a time where when we look at this chart, it will end up being wrong. It will have ended up telling us the wrong thing. But according to history, we can be pretty confident in our analysis here. And we see that the percentage of Bitcoin supply that was last active a year ago or more has started to curl back down. And whenever this supply percentage starts to curl back down, as I've already covered, that signals the bottom of the current Bitcoin cycle. The next data that I really want to look at is the simple fear and greed index with cryptocurrency and Bitcoin in particular. We can see right now that the fear and greed index is sitting at around 20 according to this website, and anytime in history when fear has reached these levels, it has signaled a market bottom for Bitcoin. For example, we have to go back to April of 2020 to see this, the COVID crash. When fear reached levels like we're seeing today, that signaled the bottom for Bitcoin. We can go back to December of 2018 and see the same thing. The end of 2018 was very rough for both the stock market and Bitcoin. But this is just another indicator we can look at that very rarely has been wrong. Whenever fear reaches a certain level, that typically means that a bottom is close and Bitcoin is about to rally. The most recent time that the fear and greed index got to similar levels as these was just last year in July, which also corresponded to the bottom of the Bitcoin cycle. And Bitcoin from that point forward went from $32,000 per Bitcoin up to $69,000 per Bitcoin. Over a double up. So according to those two indicators, it looks likely that we've at least established a short-term bottom for Bitcoin, which also means we've likely established a short-term bottom for other cryptocurrencies as well. We're just getting into this video, but I want to hear from you guys down in the comment section below. Leave a comment and let me know what you think Bitcoin and cryptocurrency prices are going to do throughout the rest of 2022. I'm guessing we all have different opinions, but I want to hear from everybody because I think that's the best due diligence and research people can do, is hear differing opinions, which leads me into my next point here. I don't normally mention it, but please, even if it's not my membership, please consider joining a membership or a community, because I think that's one of the most beneficial things you can do for your investing journey. And it's one of the best ways you can grow as an investor. If you're interested in joining my membership, just simply hit the join button down below. I am going to add my cryptocurrency buys and sells and my due diligence for everybody that joins. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get back into the good stuff. So we already discussed earlier how Bitcoin has been outperforming the stock market. And I think it's common sense. It's almost a fact at this point that if the markets have found their bottom, Bitcoin will continue to outperform the stock markets, which begs the question, is now the time to go all in on cryptocurrency? And right now, we are in a very interesting time with Bitcoin in particular. Bitcoin being down 65-70% from its all-time highs basically means that capitulation has already happened. For those of you that don't know what that big word means, it basically means that investors have waved the white flag. They're giving up. They've sold out. They can't stomach any more downside, so they've sold out of their Bitcoin positions to protect what little capital they have left. And it's been well documented that last November, when Bitcoin was hitting its all-time highs, there was a lot of leverage in the markets. And this was leverage that was buying. This was leverage that was long Bitcoin. Most of that long leverage, with Bitcoin being down 65% from highs, has been forced to liquidate. Whenever you borrow money or Bitcoin or another asset against a different asset as your collateral, and that collateral decreases in value, there comes a point where the bank or whoever you lent from is going to force you to sell back to them whatever you took from them, whether that's the lent out money, lent out Bitcoin, whatever it is. And I can guarantee you, with Bitcoin being down as much as it is, a lot of that leverage has been flushed out of the market. We haven't even mentioned all the different bankruptcies that have been going on with different crypto lending platforms or with crypto brokerages in general. A lot of those companies have been going bankrupt. And what happens when you go bankrupt? Generally, you're forced to liquidate whatever assets you still have. And in most cases, that is Bitcoin that is sitting on these crypto businesses' financial accounts that they are being forced to sell. A lot of that is done for. But right now, as we're sitting here today, with Bitcoin in the low 20,000s, it's almost laughable. The opposite is happening, where people are leveraging to the downside, borrowing money, borrowing Bitcoin and selling that on the open markets in hopes that it will go down. That is called short selling. There is a lot of that going on right now. And the same phenomena is going to happen as Bitcoin starts to recover, where those short sellers are going to be forced to liquidate their positions and buy that Bitcoin back from the markets to give back to whoever they lent it from. We see this all the time in the stock market with short squeezes. The same thing happens with Bitcoin, but on an even bigger scale, because liquidity is less with Bitcoin, and lots of brokerages allowed investors to leverage whatever collateral they had in their account to the tune of 100%, 200%, 300%, 400%. This is going to be a short squeeze snowball at some point in time. Whether that's now or 6 months in the future or next year, that's anybody's guess. But looking at the different analytics we've looked at today, and also considering the fact that there are a lot of short sellers that are betting against Bitcoin right now, I think the odds of this happening sooner than later are pretty high. And right now, with Bitcoin being up $5,000 or $6,000 from its lows, we are nearing a disbelief stage where investors are in disbelief about the price action, thinking there's no way this is sustainable. This is going to fall right back down. I'm not going to plow any money into this rally. I can't see it. But what quickly follows a disbelief stage is a prolonged FOMO rally, because those same people that are sitting on their hands not doing anything as the rally gets started are the ones that fuel that rally to go to basically euphoric levels. Those are the people that are sitting on their hands now not buying up the rally. They're the FOMOers, the fear of missing out. But in order for this disbelief phase to actually start, in my opinion, we need another couple weeks of bullish momentum where Bitcoin prices maybe don't rocket up, but they continue to trend upwards to the $25,000, $26,000, $27,000 level. And following that, as soon as those short sellers start to get squeezed, that's when that FOMO rally, euphoric rally, would start. But to end this video, as promised, I want to discuss the different crypto assets available for you to buy and break them down, and maybe you can come up with the optimal purchase for yourself. Everybody's going to be different. Everybody's portfolios are different. Everybody's risk tolerances are different. So there's no one good answer. So without further ado, let's just go ahead and break these different assets down. For starters, you can buy Bitcoin straight up, obviously. Open a brokerage account, buy Bitcoin, put it on your wallet, put it in cold storage, whatever you want to do, you can buy Bitcoin straight up. And I think this is probably the optimal purchase for a lot of people right now, where with Bitcoin, you're going to outperform the stock market, but you're also going to underperform the stock market if the stock market and the markets in general have not yet found their bottom. Bitcoin is going to feel the pain more than the stock market will. That's how it's worked in history. Things could change. That's just what I'm seeing right now. However, with Bitcoin right now, I think there is very limited downside. Even if the markets put in a new low, I don't think you're going to lose more than 50% of your money, which sounds like a lot, but in the crypto universe, that's really not that much when we see the price of Bitcoin crumble 60, 70% within a few months. There's also very little risk that you would lose everything if you purchased Bitcoin. Sure, you might be down 50%, but if you're willing to hold Bitcoin and you want to hold cryptocurrency for years to go into the future, chances are you're going to make a lot of money over time, and no matter what, right now is a discount opportunity to buy at. Just a side note, if you do use leverage to buy Bitcoin, obviously you can lose that Bitcoin. You can lose the money you put into that if you use leverage. So I would stay away from leverage right now in the crypto industry, the crypto market, because things still could fall very fast and very hard, and you would lose everything. Another asset you could go out there and buy up while the market is down are brokerages, but this is probably my least favorite pick out of all the different options you have. All you have to do is go to Google to see all of the issues brokerages are having right now. Started with Voyager Digital. We also had Three Arrows Capital, which borrowed a lot of money from brokerages, go bankrupt, and then most recently we had Celsius go bankrupt. And yes, there's opportunity here, but I think the opportunity with crypto brokerages is if you can get into an opportunity with a private company. Most public companies, if not all public crypto brokerages out there right now, carry a lot of bankruptcy risk. This includes Coinbase because even they are feeling the pain here. They offer outrageous interest rates on your capital you put into the brokerage, which is why a lot of these crypto brokerages are feeling pain right now and going bankrupt. They can't meet those obligations. Another thing that I'll mention quickly with Coinbase is they recently paused their affiliate program. That could be nothing. That could be them trying to cut costs because they're starting to feel this pain that I've been talking about in this video. I don't know. I just don't really like that opportunity. Now, if you had the chance to get into a company like FTX, which has lots of capital and free cash on hand, I would do that. I would invest in a brokerage like that. But those companies, for the most part, are private companies right now. They are not listed on the public markets. This next crypto asset that you can go out and buy is probably my personal favorite. And this is the Bitcoin mining companies that are publicly traded. This will get you exposure to cryptocurrency and Bitcoin in particular. We have Marathon on one end of the spectrum, which is up 140% from June 30th. That is insane returns. And Marathon at one point was, I think, an $80 stock. On the chart, it says it hit $75.92, but I'm pretty sure it hit over $80 per share at one point. So there could be a lot of upside here with a Marathon Digital. Or on the other side, you could go for a company like CleanSpark, which is debt-free. They have probably the most flexibility in the Bitcoin mining space, but they're only up 20% from their lows, 20 to 30%. In relation to what we just covered, Marathon being up about 140%. So there might be some opportunity there in Bitcoin mining companies that have not yet felt the love like a Marathon or a Riot Blockchain have. Also, I think it's important to note that with a company like CleanSpark, The risk here is that you don't see that upside that Marathon and Riot have, whereas the risk with Marathon and Riot being up so fast, so quickly, is the downside. The fact that those companies, those stocks could get cut in half overnight, basically. With CleanSpark and these other Bitcoin mining stocks that have not felt the love yet, you really don't have that risk. So it depends how risky you want to be. Do you want to take the risk on the upside or the downside? That's how you can decide which Bitcoin miner you want to buy. And then lastly, you could go out and buy other cryptocurrencies. This is something that I have started to do on a very small scale. Basically, buying other cryptocurrencies other than Bitcoin itself. This is extremely risky because, in my personal opinion, over the long term, there's only going to be a handful of cryptocurrencies that really amount to anything, and the rest of them are probably going to go to zero. So pick and choose your battles there. It's very risky. The payoff could be tremendous, but we've seen it time and time again in the past, where these altcoins go to zero, where these hyped up cryptocurrencies get rug pulled and go to zero. It's a very risky endeavor, but it's something that if there's a project you really believe in, it's something you can put some money into while the markets are low and hopefully make a lot of money doing so. But with that, guys, I'm going to end this video here. Leave a comment down below what you think cryptocurrency and Bitcoin is going to do throughout the rest of 2022. Obviously, you probably know my opinion based on this video. I think they're probably going to go up quite significantly in the short term and maybe even over the long term. Depends how long this euphoric rally lasts. But with that, have a great rest of your day. Stay blessed. I'll be back with a brand new video later this week. Peace out.